All right, so we're back over here on Helldivers 2. Finally, it's been quite a while since we've gotten anything new and exciting to really be driven back into the game, so to speak. And man, they really dropped a bombshell on us last night at the Game Awards. So what I wanted to do in this video is just go over everything that we got in this patch that I thought was significant, go over the new Warbond that dropped today, and talk about that new faction that we ended up getting as well. Anyways, let's get into it. So the new faction we got is called the Illuminate. Essentially, these guys were in the first game, and they're these alien space type creatures with some insane technology. They have this ability to turn humans into husk-like characters like you see from Mass Effect whenever we saw the husk characters and whatnot, and they turn into like little zombie guys. There's just a lot of really cool things about them. They have like this World War Z type feel to them. Again, they just look really awesome, and they've really been highly anticipated by the community, so we're excited to play that. Along with the Illuminate came a new biome or a new setting for us to fight in, which is a urban setting, so we're now able to fight in cities. And it's really interesting. I actually been watching people play it, and it looks like a lot of fun because there's some destructibility to the buildings, as well as it looks really cinematic with all the different Illuminate things going on and whatnot. It's really cool, and I imagine we'll see a lot of this carried over onto the other factions as well. But for now, it's just specifically isolated to this one particular map for the Illuminates. We also ended up getting a new on the map stratagem called the FRV Vehicle. Essentially, this is like a Warthog style vehicle from Halo that you can jump in with your squad and just ride around, running things over and shooting them with machine guns. It's really cool. But yeah, there's apparently more varieties of this type of vehicle coming out in the future, and I think it's going to be a stratagem we can call in. But for right now, I believe from what I've seen, it's only usable on the map. You got to kind of find one or call it in or whatever the situation is. But again, it's isolated to just this particular map, and eventually it will become a stratagem. I assume we'll be able to call in on any map, which is going to be very nice. So jumping into the patch notes specifically, I cherry-picked some things I thought were important, and there's quite a lot of things I want to talk about, but again, I cherry-picked what I thought was important. I'm going to list all the patch notes and the link to the patch notes down in the description below, so you can actually rejoin games if you're disconnected for whatever reason. I did not see if you got kicked by like the party leader or something like that. I wasn't sure if you can rejoin the game. I assume not. I assume it's just for disconnects. So we had some major changes to the jump pack, which are very, very interesting and make the jump pack way more viable, even though it was very viable before. So now you can actually aim properly while using the jump pack. So that's a really awesome thing because you can actually fluidly aim with it. You can also now stim while you're airborne. And apparently they added a fire trail that comes out of the jump pack, so that way you have like a boost of fire and it kind of trails a little bit so it can catch things on fire like enemies and things like that. So you need to be careful when you're doing your jump pack near your fellow Helldivers. And then Helldivers no longer take fall damage when the jump pack engages its landing thrusters. So they also made some changes to the RL-77 airburst rocket launcher. And the main thing that they changed, they gave us another fire mode with this. So essentially the new weapon function, as they're calling it, is this cluster fire option. So cluster projectiles detonate based on a timer instead of proximity. This will dramatically lower the amount of team killing that comes with this rocket launcher. And I imagine a lot of people will be using it. It's very similar to the shotgun that we got fairly recently. You can switch the modes and whatnot. So I'm actually curious to try that. And then these have a short arming time as well. They're not just an instant shot from what I understand, but I'm actually very curious to try this out. We also had some minor changes to the LAS-98 laser cannon. Essentially, the spare magazines were increased from 1 to 2, and they also decreased the heat buildup when you're firing by 20%, which is huge. Again, you're going to be able to fire this thing a little bit longer. Exploding barrels now have been upgraded and leave trails of fire behind them, so they're going to leave little pools of fire for enemies to catch fire on, which is very nice. The SG-25 spray and play had its ergo increased from 25 to 50. The Plas 15 Loyalist had its magazine increased from 4 to 5. The Bushwhacker had its reload reduced from 3 to 2.5 seconds. Gas grenades have increased their demolition strength from 10 to 30. The G10 incendiary grenade now has an increased fire duration. They made quite a few changes to boosters also, which I'm actually decently excited about. Again, I'm still not excited to use these, but I feel like they're a lot better at least and more viable. So they made some changes to the expert extraction pilot. The bonus has been increased by 100%. Flexible reinforcement budget has now been increased by 150%. The muscle enhancement bonus has now been increased by 40%. Motivational shocks bonus has been increased by 100%. The peak physique armor passive has now been awarded a 100% extra melee damage instead of the 50%, which is huge in my opinion. Sentries take longer to set fire to and now burn for a shorter duration, which hopefully will keep them alive a little bit longer. They also made some massive changes to exosuits, and the things they changed were primarily centered around the durability of it, although they said there were some things that affected the durability, but mainly they focused in on the health pool of the exosuits. So the main health pool of the exosuits have been increased from 600 to 850. The cockpit health pool has been increased from 450 to 500. The cockpit armor has been increased from 2 to 3. The arm HP has been increased from 250 to 350. The arm armor has been decreased from 3 to 2. The leg HP has been increased from 500 to 600, and they slightly made it less durable against projectiles, which is kind of annoying. But again, with all the increases to health overall to the exosuits, these things should stay alive a lot longer. This is one of the first things I'm going to try because I really want to see if these things are actually more viable. And there's a whole list of bug fixes and quality of life things that they did that I don't want to go over in this video because it's already going to be long enough. But I'm going to have it down in the description below. So we did get a new Warbond called Urban Legends, and we got quite a few things in here. No primary weapons or anything like that, but we did get our first melee weapon, which is the Stun Lance. Essentially, this is a secondary weapon you can plug into your secondary slots. And with that, we also got something in the Superstore, which is the Stun Baton as well. So it seems like we're finally getting melee weapons trickled into the game, which is really nice. Back over on the Warbond, we did get a lot of cosmetics to obviously the vehicles and things like that, including the new Warthog type vehicle, and we also got the exosuits and whatnot. So plenty of cosmetics to go around, especially new armors. But we did get 3 new stratagems with this Warbond. The first of which is the directional shield, which again, I mentioned that before, it pairs well with any one-handed secondaries, and the melee weapons are one-handed secondaries. But essentially, this is the directional shield, and this puts a little shield in front of you and protects you. I imagine it works very similar to the backpack shield. I haven't tried it out yet. We also have the Flame Sentry, which really looks absolutely fantastic. We've been teased this a little while ago, but it looks absolutely incredible and looks like it's going to do a ton of damage and will allow us to keep feeding that fire build only fantasy that we all have, which is really nice. And then lastly, we have something I was not expecting, which was this anti-tank encampment. Emplacement, sorry. So it looks really interesting because it does actually have heavy armor penetration, and it seems like it's going to do a lot of damage against those elite enemies, which is very nice. The last thing I wanted to show you is over here on the galactic map, and I just wanted to point this out, that it is so nice to see 150,000 active Helldivers. People are absolutely loving this update. And there's 135,000 people currently on the Illuminate planet right now or the planet that's getting invaded by the Illuminates. Absolutely fantastic. Anyways, that's pretty much everything you need to know about the new Warbond and all the things going on with the patch. Again, the full patch notes are down in the description below. But let me know what you guys think about the Illuminate, the urban environment, and all the things. But anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.